Welcome back, Royal Sussex Squad family. Today we have a powerful, eye-opening deep dive that goes straight to the heart of everything we've been saying for years. A royal insider has finally said the quiet part out loud, confirming what Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan have been fighting to make the world understand. The truth about royal life isn't glamour, isn't privilege, isn't that fairy tale fantasy the British tabloids try to sell. According to Lady Frederick Windsor, royal life is total hell, and the fame forced onto these families is a form of torture. Those were her words, raw, unfiltered, and coming from someone actually inside that gilded cage. So today, let's talk about why this matters, what it exposes, how it completely vindicates Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex, and why the media will try their hardest to bury this truth. Let's get into it. Lady Frederick Windsor, Sophie Winkleman, didn't sugarcoat a thing. She said the more she gets to know the royal family, the more she sees how brutal their lives truly are. And you know what? This is exactly what Prince Harry has been trying to explain since he was a teenager. It's what he said in interviews, in his Netflix series, and in his memoir, Spare. It's what Meghan Sussex has been trying to show the world since the day she entered that palace and saw what was happening behind the scenes. But every time they tried to expose those realities, the British tabloids and royal commentators, those professional pearl clutchers, attacked them relentlessly. They're dramatic, they said. They're complaining, they said. They want attention, they said. And now look. A senior adjacent royal insider has stepped up and said exactly what Harry and Duchess Meghan were saying. That the spotlight, the scrutiny, the constant lies, the inability to trust anyone, it's torture. Lady Frederick Windsor even said the royals didn't choose fame. They didn't audition for it. They didn't compete for it. They didn't sign up for celebrity. They were born into a system that crushes them, tracks their every move, monitors their relationships, and throws them to the wolves when the monarchy needs a distraction. This is the same system that blamed Meghan Sussex for everything from the weather to the economy to Prince William's temper tantrums. And yet, here we are, someone from within the family confirming what Meghan tried to gently explain during that famous Oprah interview. She didn't realize how controlled things were, how suffocating, how isolating. And for telling that truth, the UK media unleashed a coordinated smear campaign unlike anything we've seen in modern times. But let's stick with what Lady Frederick Windsor said. She described how royals don't know whom to trust. She said betrayal is constant. She said lies in the press are non-stop. These are her observations, not Harry's, not Meghan's, not Sussex Squad propaganda, as the trolls like to claim. This is someone who married into the family, lived the royal experience, and saw the machine from the inside. She explained that the blinding spotlight is on them from birth until death, that every friend could be a leak, that every staffer might sell a private moment, that every tabloid story, no matter how absurd, becomes some kind of crisis they're expected to endure in silence. Does this not validate everything Prince Harry said about courtiers planting negative stories? Does this not align with what Meghan Sussex revealed about how her every move was twisted into a headline? And yet, when the Sussexes finally took action to protect their mental health, their children, and their future, they were demonized. But Lady Frederick Windsor said it clearly. This life is not healthy. She didn't say challenging. She didn't say stressful. She said it is not remotely healthy. And that word remotely carries weight, meaning not even close. So let's ask the haters. How is Harry supposed to stay in a system called unhealthy by insiders? How is Duchess Meghan supposed to survive in a system described as hell? How are they wrong for stepping away? The answer is, they're not wrong. They're brave. They are the only ones in that entire family who said, "We refuse to be sacrificed to the institution." That is strength. That is leadership. That is generational healing. Let me take you deeper into the emotional side of what Lady Frederick Windsor revealed. She talked about her own royal wedding, the huge event, the spectacle, the cameras, the choreographed smiles, and said it was full of strangers. She admitted she didn't know half the people in the room. Imagine that. On the most important day of your life, you're surrounded not by your community, not by your people, but by whoever the institution needs to put in the front row for optics. That says everything about the coldness of the system. Compare that to how Meghan Sussex was portrayed. "She didn't fit in," the tabloids shouted. "She didn't understand royal culture." No, what Meghan understood is humanity, warmth, empathy, actual family values, and she walked straight into a palace that operates more like a corporate boardroom than a home. And it gets deeper. Winkleman had to move the day after her wedding. She had to start a brand new job immediately, barely having time to even process the marriage she just stepped into. Now, imagine if Duchess Meghan had said that. Imagine if Meghan said, "My wedding was a blur because the institution moved me around like a prop." The media would have made 700 headlines calling her ungrateful, dramatic, difficult, diva, or complaining. But when someone else from inside the family reveals the same thing, radio silence. That double standard has been the backbone of the entire anti-Meghan hate campaign. But the most fascinating part of this interview is when Lady Frederick Windsor says she still loves the family and thinks they are sweet. And that's exactly the point Harry and Meghan have made over and over. The individuals can be perfectly decent people, but the system, the institution, is corrosive. It turns sweet people into silent bystanders. It pits relatives against each other. It forces them into emotional cages where they're expected to suffer politely. And if someone dares to step outside of that cage, the press punishes them. That's why Harry said multiple times, "I love my family, but I will not play the game." And let's be honest, the game is deadly. Lady Frederick Windsor basically confirmed that mental health doesn't stand a chance in that environment. She confirmed that privacy doesn't exist, that the pressure is relentless, that the scrutiny is inhuman. So when Duchess Meghan spoke about feeling suicidal and the palace refusing to help her, she wasn't exaggerating. She was telling the truth about a system that even insiders call unhealthy. Meghan Sussex wasn't being dramatic. She was surviving. Now let's zoom out and talk about why this story terrifies the British press. Because make no mistake, they are terrified of this interview. Because it destroys their favourite palace-approved narratives. They love to pretend the Sussexes were the only unhappy couple. They love to pretend the Sussexes were the only ones who struggled. They love to pretend the monarchy is stable, unified, content, and glowing with tradition. And yet, here comes Lady Frederick Windsor, casually dropping the truth that the entire royal family is living in misery. And the world is supposed to somehow believe the Sussexes were just being sensitive? Please. This one interview busts open decades of propaganda. It exposes the truth that Harry and Meghan weren't running away from responsibility. They were escaping a place where even insiders say they can't trust anyone. They didn't abandon the monarchy. The monarchy abandoned them by refusing to protect them from lies, racism, and psychological harm. Duchess Meghan didn't steal Harry, as the unhinged tabloids claimed. Harry rescued his family from an institution that would have eventually destroyed them. And this is why the media isn't promoting this Lady Frederick Windsor interview everywhere. Because it supports everything they tried to bury. They painted Meghan Sussex as a villain. They painted Prince Harry as ungrateful. They claimed the Sussexes were too sensitive. They said Meghan couldn't handle royal life. But if royal life is a form of torture, as Lady Frederick Windsor just told the world, then why is it wrong not to handle torture? Why is it wrong to choose happiness? Why is it wrong to choose mental health? The answer is simple. It's not wrong. It's righteous. It's protective. It's what good parents do. It's what good partners do. And it's what Harry and Duchess Meghan did for their family. They were the first two members of the royal circle to say, "We love each other too much to let an institution destroy us." So let me make this absolutely clear. Harry and Meghan Sussex didn't leave because they failed at royal life. They left because royal life fails the people inside it. And Lady Frederick Windsor just confirmed the truth that the world has been refusing to hear. This isn't about drama. This isn't about attention. This is about survival. And, as always, the British press will attack the Sussexes for surviving. They will ignore this interview because it exposes their agenda. They will continue to smear Meghan because she represents everything the monarchy fears: a free, intelligent, compassionate, biracial woman who refuses to bow to dysfunction. And they will continue attacking Harry because he broke the generational cycle and refused to sacrifice his wife and children to a system that demands silence in exchange for suffering. But here's the beautiful part. They can scream, they can smear, they can lie, they can invent scandals, they can push propaganda, but they cannot change the truth. And the truth has a funny way of revealing itself, even through unexpected sources like Lady Frederick Windsor. Her interview will go down as yet another example, another confirmation, another moment where the palace's carefully polished image cracks and the truth slips out. This family is not living a fairy tale. They are living under pressure, scrutiny and surveillance. They are surviving a system they didn't choose. And Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan were the first to break free on their own terms, with dignity, with clarity, and with purpose. So, to the Sussex Squad listening right now, never doubt that Harry and Meghan made the right decision. Never doubt that their story matters. And never doubt that the truth always comes out, even from places the media never expects. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Royal Sussex Squad podcast. If you value this breakdown, if you support Harry and Meghan Sussex, if you want to help us keep exposing the truth behind the monarchy and uplifting the only couple brave enough to walk away, make sure you hit like, smash that subscribe button and support the channel with a super thanks. Your support keeps us strong against the noise, the negativity, and the endless tabloid circus. Until next time, stay blessed, stay sharp, and stay Sussex strong.